guys, we are here with Augie this morning. August is a German Shepherd puppy. So what we are working on today is pressure and release on his slip lead. We are working on some name recognition. We are also working on doing some turns and getting him to pay attention to me while we're outside. He tends to get overstimulated and really distracted when we are outside. So I want to make sure that he learns as he's growing up that when I call his name, it means he needs to turn and look at me. So we're working on name recognition, getting him to understand just that. When I say your name, it means I need you to pay attention. Eventually, you're going to start pairing that with commands as well. So it would be Augie, and then when he turns and looks at us, it would be sit or come or any of the above. So what you can see right there, what we're working on is pressure and release. Few things to understand with pressure and release. One, you have to make sure that your leash is positioned up high as you can possibly get it. He's got fuzz down here, so he's got his little puppy rolls. So I make sure that I put his little rolls underneath the leash, and it goes as high up as I can possibly get it. Sorry, buddy. Let me have a tangle. Dogs have pressure points in their skull and in their muzzle. So what we're doing when we're doing this is we're applying a light pressure to the pressure points. You can also do transitional, which is where we make a figure 8 with the slip lead and it goes over their muzzle. If I feel like he needs that, we'll add that in a little bit. But for right now, we're just going to teach him what pressure and release means. Pressure means go into a calmer state of mind. We need you to calm down, right? So what we're doing is we're telling him, calm down, you've calmed down. Calm down, you've calmed down. It's also red light, green light. Red light, his butt hits, it goes away. You can see this is 1 or 2 fingers worth of pressure, very light pressure. We only want to use just enough pressure to get him to feel it, because if you teach him, less is more. So if we apply this tiny little force of pressure, it means I need you to calm down. Then when we start walking and he just goes a little bit ahead of me, he's going to feel that pressure and go, oh, I need to stop now. Rather than full force, white knuckles, him pulling, right? If you ever see that, no, way too much force. You always want this just resting on your fingers. You're never going to see me with a closed fist on this. You're always going to see it just resting on my fingers so that it's very easy to, just let it slip, right? We also want to make sure, see how this has slid? See, it's way down here now. This is his throat, right? We're going to just be putting pressure on his trachea if we're doing it there. That's when you're going to hear your dog make the noise. 1, that means you're putting too much pressure. 2, that means it's way too low. So we want to make sure that it's really high up. You want your silver circle to be centered with his nose. That's going to allow us to put the pressure on and off. And then you want your safety to be, about a half an inch or an inch or so off of that. So just enough that when it falls, it doesn't just slide all the way down, right? But you also don't want it so tight that when we do release, there's no release of pressure. He has to be able to feel pressure on and off. It goes on, it goes off, right? What we're doing with pressure and release is teaching him a language. So dogs do not speak English. We do not speak bark. So it's up to us to teach them this is how we are going to communicate with each other from now on, right? So they understand pressure. You could have more of a conversation with your dog using body language and pressure and release and eye contact than you would teaching him, Augie, than you would trying to have a conversation and talk to him, right? So what we're doing is we're teaching him a new language right now that we can both understand. What I'm doing right now when we're walking, as you can see, as soon as he gets past my knee, he is no longer heeling, right? So what we're trying to teach our dogs when we're heeling is basically we're playing a game of follow the leader. He cannot be following you if he is ahead of you, right? So the whole point of a heel is follow me at my pace. So again, he can't be following you if he is behind you. He can't be following you if he's not paying attention to you. So if he can't pay attention to me in my neighborhood where there's literally nothing going on, there's nobody outside, there's no cars, there's no cats, there is nothing going on right now. And you can hear he's already frustrated because I'm not letting him just go and do whatever he wants. I'm teaching him right now that he needs to remain calm. I'm not doing anything, unfortunate. That's as much pressure as I'm using. He's learning that he has to respect what I'm asking him to do right now. It's tough for a puppy, it's tough for a kid, but that's what we need to do. If we do it now while he's young, he's going to be an awesome dog when he grows up, right? So when we're walking, as soon as he gets ahead of me, right there, see, he can be following me. He's behind me. Good boy, August. Right? So another thing I love to do is just backpedaling. Augie, I'm not going to pull him. Augie, just give him a pop. Yes, good boy. Good job, buddy. Augie. Yes, good boy. Augie. So this is name recognition. Getting him to turn and turn and look at me anytime I say his name. He's better with it inside, but he definitely does not know his name yet. He doesn't respond to it at all yet. Even in the car this morning, I was trying to get him to look at me. He was just like, nope. He was barking at someone at Dunkin' Donuts, and he was just having nothing to do with his name. So I wanted to make sure I worked on that a little bit more today. Augie. Yes, good boy. Good job, little man. Good boy. So I'm just like wiggling my fingers. Augie. Yes, good boy. Right? So that's how you go about doing name recognition. That's a great thing to practice. Getting him to follow you. If you can get him to do it this way, Augie, yes, good job. Right? So I get like kind of excited. Get him interested to follow you. If it's just boring, he's not going to want to do anything. Augie, yes, good boy. Come on, buddy. Come on. Here you go. So now he's following me, right? If he can follow me this way, then when we clean it up and I turn this way, it's the same idea. He follows. Augie. You also don't want that dangling in front of his face. That's what happens and why dogs start to bite their leash because it's a temptation. So yeah, with the pulling, again, we're never going to allow him to pull on leash. This should always be loose. Even when we're going to potty, if he goes to pull and this leash goes straight, I do a pop and release. I call it the lawnmower, right? So it's a quick on and off, on and off. Right? So see, now when it was in front of his face, it was a temptation. Now it's behind him, he doesn't even care about it. Augie. All right, so this is what we're practicing right now. And then when we clean it up and we start walking, we can kind of just use our leash as a guide to do pop and release. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and keep practicing that. And we'll be back with a little bit of an update in just a bit.